think that...
Let me ask you just one direct question.
Yeah.
Should we have our ear to the ground? Is something going to come soon?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Friday is going to be one of the biggest events in American election history.
What time? Where should I tune in?
The details will be shared.
Where?
Go to Bobby's X account, and Team Kennedy will be releasing a press release as well.
Okay.
What's going on, guys? So we got to talk about RFK Jr. So news is coming out, and you guys, I'm sure, have seen it. I literally posted a video about this already, but it's looking like he is most certainly going to drop out of the race and endorse Donald Trump, because the radical leftists have pushed him and backed him into a corner. So they're committing lawfare against him. This guy says he's got like 9 different lawsuits. Trump had like at least 4, I think more than that. But RFK Jr. has like 9 different suits against him for different reasons. It's because they're trying to remove him from the ballot and make sure that he doesn't have a chance to run at all. Now, obviously, a lot of the stuff that Democrats do, because they've gotten so radical, is backfiring against them. And this is just another example of that same thing happening, because a lot of Republicans believe that the current people that are voting for RFK are kind of like those disaffected independents. You know, maybe they might vote Democrat, but a lot of them are leaning Republican because, for example, when Kamala entered the race, RFK's numbers kind of tanked. Like, he was like over 10%, I think upwards of like 13, 14% at times. And then he just totally tanked and went like down to around 5%. Currently a little bit less than that, whereas Kamala Harris went up in the polls. So apparently a lot of people wasn't really rocking with Biden, and then when Kamala jumped on board, more people jumped ship from RFK's yacht and went over to the Kamala Harris cruise ship.
Hey everybody, I'm at the state courthouse in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania this morning. I'm supposed to be in a meeting with community leaders on the south side of Chicago today, talking about criminal justice reform. But I had to come here because the Democratic Party is suing me in Pennsylvania. And by the way, tomorrow I'm going to Mineola, Long Island, because they're suing me there too. They're suing me all over the country. They're trying to keep me off the ballot. Unfortunately, in some of these states, we're running into judges who are highly politicized and who are very, very sympathetic, let me put it that way, to the DNC. And today, the judge was less than sympathetic to our side. We may lose this case on the state level, but it's costing us millions of dollars to defend these cases. And of course, that's what the Democratic Party wants. And it's an irony to me that the DNC is meeting right now in Chicago, where I was supposed to be, and that everybody's talking about joy and about the need to elect Democrats in order to protect voting rights. And, you know, my father, my uncle, the Democratic Party that they were members of, was the Democratic Party that was at the forefront of making sure that every American could vote for the candidate that they wanted to. But today, the Democratic Party is doing the opposite. It's disenfranchising millions of Americans. There are 1 million Americans signed ballot petitions, more than any other candidate in history, to get me on the ballot. And that's never happened before. And there's tens of millions of Americans that want to vote for me, and they're being disenfranchised. I'm a little disillusioned with the Democratic Party today, but that's why I decided to run as an independent. And God bless all of you, and God bless America.
Now, besides the intro to this video being a huge spoiler for the rest of what I was going to talk about, you also have the mainstream news media that also basically leaked this all over the place, saying that RFK Jr. is going to drop out and endorse Trump. Non-confirmed, but it's all but confirmed at this point. You also have, literally from his X account, I have it here on the screen, where he says he's going to address the nation 2 p.m. August 23rd. He's going to live stream it. He's going to be in Arizona. Okay, for those who don't know, he's going to be in Arizona. Donald Trump, his event, he's going to be also in Arizona at 4 p.m. Very, very likely RFK Jr. makes his announcement at one location. Donald Trump brings RFK Jr. onto the stage at his rally Friday. Perfect timing because this whole DNC fiasco will be over. These people are masterfully campaigning. Donald Trump is literally planning to pour a huge ass bucket of water right on top of this whole DNC boost, which they didn't really get a boost. They actually went down in the polls during this DNC convention. How the hell does that even happen?
You know why? Because she's dumb.
Now I want to go ahead and jump to vice presidential contender Nicole Shanahan. This is RFK's VP. A lot of people don't even know like that she even existed because the mainstream media has been suppressing them. But Nicole Shanahan is his vice presidential pick. You saw her at the beginning of this video, and she is going to talk about this in greater detail so you can kind of understand what the hell is going on and how they've been. Basically, there's been the government, the mainstream news media, lawfare, all been colluding and bullying the hell out of, like, you thought Trump was getting bullied. They're bullying RFK Jr. just as hard. Let's get into it.
I have to say there's only one party that has obstructed a fair election for us. And unfortunately, it was the Democratic Party. They've done everything they can, including creating PACs to prevent us from being able to have ballot access.
Yeah, it's interesting because you were saying that you could stay in and run the risk of Kamala Harris win, or you could walk and you could join forces with Donald Trump. When you say join forces, Nicole, what do you mean specifically?
Well, this idea of a unity party, an idea of us coming around these principles of fighting for liberty in this country, fighting for our children's health. We have the worst chronic health crisis in the world right now. Over 50% of children are diagnosed with some chronic disease. This is unconscionable. Yeah. And we are willing to work with anyone who is sincere in their endeavor to fix and address this issue.
Do you believe the Trump campaign and Trump himself is sincere? Do you see a home? You talk about this as being Bobby's decision. Do you see a home for RFK Jr. in the Trump administration, Health and Human Services, something to that extent?
I would fully support it. I would fully support a strong partnership dedicated to this issue. A lot of people comment that in his first term he didn't accomplish many of the things that mothers really were hoping he would do. Made some big mistakes around the pandemic. However, I think that he is sincere.
Yeah.
You don't say stuff like this if it's just a rumor, guys. Like, at this point, as far as I'm concerned, it is confirmed. Like, they don't just come out of nowhere and say, yeah, I think Trump is an awesome guy. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
I do.
I think it's interesting because the National Review today kind of agrees with you. It's saying that if you, in fact, join the Trump I'm not saying the Trump campaign, if you pulled out of the race, that it would be more beneficial to the Trump campaign than the Harris campaign. Is that a fair assessment?
I think that it's a tight race right now. Yeah. I wish that we had a chance to debate, that we had fair representation in the polls. I wish we had a chance to be on stage, because had we likely would have won this election. Yeah. 71% of Americans want.
Now, I'll just go ahead and stop you right there, Nicole. Like, you look, you cute and all, but that's cap, because a lot of people do know that RFK exists. They probably don't know about you, but they know RFK exists. And a lot of people don't really like him for a lot of reasons. Like, literally, a lot of people just don't like the way he sounds. Like, they don't like the way his voice sounds, be it his fault or not, guys. We live in a real world. It's tough, okay? It's tough-ish. And a lot of his policies are kind of like left policies, but they're like radical left, but RFK doesn't like go in lockstep with the radical left. He's not doing the Bernie Sanders tap dance. Like, Bernie Sanders doesn't really, he's radical left too, but he's like different radical left. He used to be like a man of integrity. RFK Jr. still has his integrity. He left the party and basically they're punishing him for leaving. This is what people like Bernie Sanders were on the verge of. Maybe even those types like Elizabeth Warren and stuff like that. The way that the Democrat mafia currently operates these days, the radical left operates, the totalitarian, authoritarian left, you either fall in line or we'll destroy you.
a strong third-party option, and we delivered it in terms of ballot access.
Yeah.
But they're suing us. The DNC aligned PACs are suing us to get us off the ballots right now. These are frivolous lawsuits. We've had some of the best people involved in our ballot petitions, some of the most precise, signature packages ever submitted to any of the Secretary of States. We've overcome so much to get to this point. So to even be contemplating this is tough. It's a really hard decision, and we don't come to this moment lightly. We come to this moment because in every single decision we make, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we are representing the best interest of health and wellness of young people, children, and future generations.
Seems like it's a closed and shut case, ladies and gentlemen. RFK Jr. is going to be joining Teflon Don. It's time to whoop Kamala's ass. It's only going to get worse from here, guys. This is going to be a train wreck, a disaster. It almost makes me feel sorry for all of these crazy leftists, all these radicals, like, we're going to get a black woman in there. Yeah, like this freaking fake wannabe black. She's definitely not black. Like, she's Jamaican, like, no, being born in Jamaica, that doesn't make you, like, hello, there's literally white people born in South Africa all the time. They're not black all of a sudden because they're born in South Africa. You can say they're African. You can say Kamala's Jamaican. You can't just say she's black. Now they're trying to be real careful with their words. Oh, she's Jamaican. She's mixed. Like, now they're saying all kinds of other stuff. Now they're not saying she's black anymore because they know they're wrong. Now they're saying that she's mixed and she's Jamaican. Anyway, guys, like, this whole situation, yet again, is another example of how the radical left in their ridiculous lawfare is blowing up in their face, because if this wouldn't have happened, honestly, if they wouldn't have been coming after Trump so heavy to begin with all of these stupid behind cases, you got the Stormy Daniels, you got the fake electors, you got election interference, J6, like classified documents, like Joe Biden did it, but we don't care that he did it, but Donald Trump does it, throw him under the jail. If they would have never did any of this stuff, if they didn't always just talk about Trump constantly, they'd probably be in a much better predicament, and they might have even been able to get Joe Biden across the finish line. Even his old cadaver butt, halfway in the dang casket, but could have possibly beaten Teflon Don. But since they've been so adamantly against him, you got people shooting at him, like, you got so much lawfare against him, right? He got a sentencing coming up soon that's probably gonna give him another boost, and he's not gonna go to jail. Even if they sentence him to jail, you can appeal it and not go to jail pending the appeal. So he's not gonna go to jail regardless. But if he's sentenced again, it's gonna be another boost for Trump. All of this stuff has backfired, and now you got RFK Jr. the day after the DNC convention coming in to cook Kamala Harris. The Democrats actually did the thing that they promised that they would do. They are truly uniting America against them. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
So his running mate said that they were considering endorsing you. Have you considered him for a role in the administration, and what role would that be?
Well, we haven't, but I would love that endorsement because I've always liked him.
Would you also consider putting him in the administration?
You're asking me a very unusual question. I haven't been asked that question yet. I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen.